So you've watched my super awesome video on creating a farm account, made one of your very own, have it all set up and producing resources. Now, how do you get those resources from your farm over to your main? Well, short answer is you attack it and you let your troops carry the loot back to you. But there are a few quick chores you'll want to do before you launch that attack to make sure you're getting as many resources as possible without unnecessarily killing off troops in your main account or accidentally porting your farm to who knows where. One quick but important note. To be able to attack your farm, it can't be a member of the same alliance that your main account is in. Most alliances have separate alliances set up just for their members' farms. Be sure that your farm is moved to this farm alliance. You can technically have your farm in the same alliance as your main and use the assist function, but you'll get gouged with those taxes and lose a big chunk of the resources you send. I don't recommend this method. Now let's get to it. First, you're going to want to prep your farm for the attack. Make sure you have enough resources built up to make the attack worthwhile. You should collect any resources there are from your production buildings, use the Harvest Lord skill if it's available, and you can even dip into the resource crates in your pack if needed. Next, you'll want to send all of your troops, including your beast, out of the castle. Without any troops defending it, the attacking army from your main account won't suffer any losses. Now there's a few ways that you can get your beast out of your castle. The safest bet is to send it, along with any excess troops, to the Alliance Fort. Alternately, you can send a march with your beast to reinforce a fellow Alliance member, set a rally for a half an hour, or send it to attack a monster on the other side of the map. Whichever method you choose, just be sure that the march will be away long enough so that it doesn't return in the middle of you attacking. If you have more troops than what you sent out with your beast, you can get those out of the castle to do their intended job and start gathering more resources. Again, you want to choose a resource tile or elite mine that will keep them away long enough for you to finish your attacks. The last thing I do before switching over to my main account to send the attack is to take a peek at my farm's current defenses. Just click on your wall to see where you're at. Always be mindful of your current defense level so that you don't accidentally take the defense down to 0 and have it port away. If your defense is too low, you can either wait for it to recover some on its own before you attack, or spend some gems to recover it. I don't personally like spending the few gems I managed to scrape together on recovering my defense, so I tend to take a few extra precautions to make sure I'm doing minimal damage during my farm attacks instead. First is to be sure to research sturdy defense in the college as high as possible to get your defense level up. Then, before each attack, I make a note of what the current resource levels are in my farm and what the resource protection level is. This will help me know how many resources I can potentially plunder and therefore how many attacks to send to clear my farm out. I also set up Lord equipment and achievement badges on my main account to give me as much of an increase to my load boost as possible. The more loot your troops can carry, the fewer attacks you'll need to send, resulting in less damage to your farm. Then, when you go to launch your attack, switch to the load first option to increase your load capacity even more. Then compare the list load capacity for that march to the overall lootable resources in your farm to figure out the minimum number of attacks it will take you to clear it. This will ensure that you're not attacking more than you need and doing unnecessary damage. After you've finished clearing it, you can log back into your farm account and click on the wall to extinguish the fires for 60 gems. The longer you leave the farm burning, the more defense it's going to lose. If you don't want to spend the gems to do this, then you'll need to be diligent in using the methods I mentioned before to minimize the amount of damage you're dealing when you go to clear your farm. Happy farming, everyone!
Bah!